social media, mining social media comments, there have been another implicit topic about what people talk about, what they feel about issues. Data aggregation, scientists, how do we build all those data sets together to create a story, and then provide that to policy decision makers. So some of the issues, data quality control, is the data of good enough quality, does it cover enough aspects, and does it provide collective intelligence? So this has got to get to a sort of critical mass where we've got enough data on enough issues which are of relevance to policy makers if they're going to take this on board. And again, this final bit then is closing this sort of feedback loop between citizens and policy makers. It's termed the use of cooperative planning. So empowerment, environmental stewardship, not just gathering data, but sharing knowledge and being active students. So that's the conceptual way of doing this. This bit is probably the hardest bit to achieve in terms of where I'm coming from, my experience. So what we're actually doing is going about a whole process of co-design. So I don't know if you've heard of Living Labs, they've built a system already, or approach, which is called the socio-technical approach. So it starts with the social dimension first. It's already having lots of technology, but if you're not getting the social dimension correct, you can't go too big. So it's all going to be issue-driven co-design. So people are going to consult big stakeholder analysis about what local issues are in a number of regions, which I'll go through in a minute, to identify what are the issues, what's important, how do we measure it, what indicators do we generate, and also is it suitable for citizen science as well, so how does that all come together. We also need to look at disincentives. A lot of that needs to do with costs. Some citizen science projects you have to pay, so it'd be free point of delivery. There's some cynicism about whether the data will be used, so by having a co-creation approach to remove some of those issues. And then things like attribution, recognition. If I'm going to contribute, how do I get recognised? Do I want rewards or not? So really looking at that first point, getting these projects correct. Then impact monitoring assessment is going to be an iterative process. We'll build something to begin with, see how it goes, monitor it, assess it, and then reiterate on it. That's the social side. On the enabling technologies, we've got lots of partners already in existing technology. So really it's about how we make those interoperable. So what open source software can we bring together so I'm from Freshwater Watch, I've got water data, how can I bring that into the other data sets without my platform, so it's going to be useful for the specific situation. That brings us on to customisation. There's no point in us having a fixed set of variables for water quality if they're not particularly relevant to that locality. So how do we customise it to local issues? And then being able to deploy it, having the right people on the ground, the right connections to actually deploy this out to the audience. So that's what we're trying to do, to bring these citizen observatories, advanced citizen observatories, and building them on. So we've got 6 demonstration cases, deliberately in Africa and Europe. We've deliberately chosen locations which are very diverse in terms of audience participation in citizen science, how they interact with government, the level of data which is out there, because we're trying to make a test bed of how we can create these observatories. So just to go through them all, the first one is in Belgium, obviously a very urbanised area. None of this is set in stone, but these are starting stories we're going to go with. So, as I say, it's co-designed, so we might get a surprise about what local communities want to measure. But we're looking at quality of life indicators, so air quality, water quality, noise, waste, typical issues in an urbanised environment. So, what data needs to be collected, what indicators can we come up with, and how does that feed into the policy decision making? Next one's in Spain, phenological data, so the timing of things in nature, when the trees come into bud, when the birds migrate, when the animals breed. There's lots of data in Spain already, but it's very fragmented. How can we bring that together and then get fine-scale data at the local level? So putting people out with weather monitors so they get micro-scale weather information and looking at this high-scale data set. In Holland, it's to do with flooding. Obviously, Holland had flooding issues. A lot of flooding management is based on terrain models and land use and rainfall, as you'd expect. But again, they need that micro-scale information to really tweak those models and to prevent flooding in the future. So how can the public help prevent flooding in Holland? Sweden, yet to be decided. We do a lot on nutrients. So nutrients are a problem in Sweden in terms of the lakes. We might look at other issues as well. Could be to do with access or recreation. We're just waiting to see. On the African case studies, we've got biodiversity data. So in Kenya, there's not really sort of stratified way of collecting data on wildlife. You've We've got tourists, rangers going out there all the time. How can we utilise those and bring that data into policy? And finally, Zambia, a lot of land change going on at the moment, a lot of huge wildlife conflict. So we're looking at where is the wildlife, where is the land use, what is changing, and where are these conflicts arising, how can we use data to try and prevent that. So a really wide range of different projects, covering a whole number of scenarios. Just this final piece here, this is about really enhancing the services. So we've got some very clever organisations amongst here, very good at visualisation, 3D gaming, community engagement, so we want to build on these platforms and bring it to a greater whole. This series gaming bit is quite exciting. I don't know a lot about it myself, but the idea of multiplayer games where you can actually play out different scenarios of land use change and decision making with all stakeholders being equal. And you can go for all these different scenarios to say, well look, if it's based on good quality data and we understand the processes correctly, you can actually mimic what might happen in the future and go through the different scenarios to really get in the public involved. So in summary, really, I'd say you can almost call this citizen science 2.0. We're trying to take it to the next stage, take things out of silos, make knowledge more actionable rather than just going into research and create a step change in how citizens get involved. So that's that. I'm not sure quite how I'm doing on time. Any questions about that? Don't be shy, it's always standing.
We really see a co-design and co-creation. What sort of technology systems are you using?
So on this side of it, so for example, one of the talks you hear is Freshwater Watch, so that's one of the platforms, so we're already going out there gathering data on water quality, and we do customise it locally, but I think there's a whole extra dimension we can bring to it. So we don't really engage with policy makers at the moment, it's been more, Earthwatch historically have tended to work more with scientists, relying on them to eventually feed into policy, but we want that sort of direct action now with our data. Going back to that factorism slide, if we can prove there's solid evidence that there's an issue, we can create change straight away. Akvo are using lots of sensors with mobile, and you get to see them as well. So really tapping into the expertise of all these different organisations. These guys, Vita, have done lots of visualisation, I think in either Belgium or Holland, and really, again, it's going to be great because we're all going to come in with different expertise and then sort of move it forward. Yes?
In terms of getting the data from citizens?
Yes.
How do you organise the sampling?
So there's that whole what do we want to gather, what's relevant, and then agreeing robust protocols. So with Freshwater Watch we give people kits, and it's a simple protocol which we've tested, and it's got to be that balance between it's going to be robust and repeatable, but not too complicated or too expensive to operate. So we've got quite a lot of expertise.
Not what is that? How do you decide who is going to do that population?
Yeah, I can tell it'll be sort of at the local community level, so we'll try and engage as wide as possible within that community. So this is one of the strengths of the partnership. Anna at the top table there, there's loads of work in Sweden, working with schools, with town planning, with general communities and immigrants as well as a new sort of force to gather data. So we're trying to be as wide as possible and inclusive as possible. Any other questions?
In the communities in which you're working, let's say in Zambia, at the local level, civil society may not have the full capacity to grasp exactly how to use the tools. In order for it to be really sustainable and ultimately have the international organizations move out, there would be, one would presume, some capacity building with national level NGOs and CSOs to serve as advisors and feedback. How are you organizing that?
Well, so in Zambia, WWF Zambia are on board with that. So I think it's almost as a pilot, so we can prove this with the monitoring and the impact of what we're having, then scale. So this is very much a first stab. I think the whole point of this, taking different situations, when does it work, when does it work, what are the barriers? We're hoping to have a pretty concrete survival of how you set up citizen observatories in any location or any situation as a result. That's why we're kind of testing. We haven't just gone for a bunch of European cities. We really want to push it and see how it works in different scenarios.
not all partners are, I'm with Akvo, not all partners are active in each of the countries. So you have like a mix of different partners, but they're not in each of the countries active.
Yes, correct. Although certain
Otherwise it'd be impossible to have.
yeah, if you've got 14 on every single, there's sort of geographic concentrations. There's obviously group meetings where we can cross-fertilise and so on, but yeah, you've got on-the-ground partners.
And then to add to that as well, so it'll be trying to also look at local solutions. So like in Zambia, Kenya, and I'm based in Kenya, I know that we have a lot more things around mobile payment system and use of Facebook, which is a lot more kind of ways for communicating and outreach to the local communities. Whereby in Sweden or in the Netherlands, you'll have another way, which is probably more effective in engaging local communities. And I think you already mentioned via schools and so on. So I think, again, I think the approaches as well will also be defined per context and also the subject.
I think we must go 15 minutes. Sarah?